Hello, Erie readers. Welcome back for another conversation with candidates. Today, my guest is County Councilman Andre Horton. Councilman Horton needs no introduction to many of you who are out in the community, many of you who pay attention to the day-to-day of county government and life here in Erie. But I want to welcome Councilman Horton, who is running for the 49th District State Senate seat here in the 2020 Democratic primary, looking for the Democratic nomination to be the party's nominee to run against Dan Laughlin in the fall general election. Councilman Horton, thanks so much for taking a couple of minutes to speak with me today. Certainly, COVID-19 has changed the nature of campaigning, changed the nature of elections. Even as we speak, the governor and the legislature are negotiating and thinking about a slight postponement of this spring's primary, which might give you a little bit longer of a tail to get out there and campaign on. But for right now, we're taking it digital, and we wanted to have an opportunity to bring the candidates to the people, and so we're thankful for the platform at eriereader.com to be able to do that as well. So thanks again for joining me. And first off, I hope everybody is healthy and doing well in your family.
Yeah, we're blessed, Jim. We're sheltering in place. Of course, my wife is a healthcare professional, so she doesn't have that option. She's a nurse over at UPMC, and we're taking all the necessary precautions and following the recommendations of the CDC and the governor.
Certainly, healthcare professionals like your wife are the heroes in moments like these, as they're becoming more and more inundated with folks looking to get tested and treated for various symptoms. So we're grateful for her work as well. Councilman, if you could, for the folks that maybe are uninitiated or don't know a lot about you and your community work. Talk to us a little bit about the things that you've been involved in. I know it's a long list, so maybe just a couple of the items that you're most proud of that brought you into public service and have contributed to the life and vibrancy of the Erie community.
That's a great intro, Jim. I guess if I had to start anywhere, it would start and end with service. Just pleased of my home. I'm pleased with all of my life's work. I've had a great launch pad from two great parents who believed in service. They were, God-loving, family-loving, union-loving, union card-carrying people, and they believed in the beloved community, and they instilled it in myself and the rest of my siblings. So we, from everything, they were everything from the parent rep at the Little League Baseball to den mothers, to den parents for scouts, and and they ran the upper bound dorms for the Gannon program for nearly 30 years. So it led me into a life of service. I've served in the United States Air Force, which I'm really, really very, very proud of the service that I've given to the country. I've served as a member of the Pennsylvania State Police. I'm proud of that, but I'm more proud of the civic things that I've been able to do, the real life things that we've been able to do to touch people. And I wear a lot of hats, from everything from past NAACP president. Of course, I'm the first African-American or person of any color to be elected to any county position in the 200+ year history of the county. That's certainly an accomplishment I'm proud of. But of all the things that I do during the week and the many hats that I wear, the things that I'm really proud of are the things that I do with people. Probably the most important thing that I do and that I really, really miss at this time, just following the recommendations of the CDC, is that every Sunday morning for the past year, God has blessed us to be able to feed 80 to 100 of our friends that are many are homeless, many are veterans. Probably looks more like heaven if you believe in such a place, and I do, than any place else on Sunday mornings when we're able to do the breakfast program, and that we have the broken, we have the mentally challenged, we have all ethnicities, whether they're black, brown, or white, or we have all different ethnicities from all the many different continents, and new Americans. We have a lot of brokenness. We have the mentally challenged, like I said, we have those addicted. We have those who just have given up on life. We just need encouragement on a day-to-day basis to pick up their cross and go on one more day. And those are the things that I need to feed my spirit. Of course, I'm the chair of county council for the second time around, and in these challenging times with COVID-19, as it dominates our whole world conversation, is of course I'm the chairman of the Erie County Retirement and Pension Board at this time, and that certainly has some concerns. And I mean, we're solvent, we're good. I'm also the chair of the Pleasant Ridge Manor Retirement and Pension Forum. But the most important hat that I wear is that of a husband and a father. And so I just want to serve this community in any capacity that they feel fit for me to serve. But I always want to be involved with our elderly, our young, and those who often seem like they don't get a fair shot or have a voice. I speak for those people.
Talk to me a little bit about your time on Erie County Council. What has been maybe one of the greatest takeaways for you, or one of the toughest lessons that you've had to take away as you step into the role as an elected official?
Mm-hmm. One of the toughest lessons that I've had to take away from Erie County Council is that you come there with a lot of good intentions to do things in bodies such as that. But if you aren't able to, if you're not able to garner enough votes and enough support, then you won't be able to meet those goals. And so one of the tough takeaways is when you don't meet those goals, when you've poured everything into it and with all your passion, and you fought with everything that you have in you, and you prayed about it, and it still seems not to go your way, then you have to pick it up and go on to the next play, and forget what happened on the vote the night before and move forward. And so, moving forward from things that are very important to me, for example, because I feel like that probably needs an explanation. Just recently, earlier this year, I put forth legislation for criminal justice reform. I felt that we at the Erie County Prison right now, we currently assess each prisoner 75% of their account, their fund account, or they call it their commissary account, I guess, and it pays for their court or their county fees or county charges. And, if we charge them to be there. And so if their charges exceed the amount of money that you put on their account, like if I go and put $100 on my son's account and he has a balance on the county books, then he'll only receive like $22.50 of it, because they take the first 75% plus $2.50 for a processing fee, which I think is it's outlandish. But anyway, earlier this year, we were able to turn that back seemingly by a 4-3 vote from 75% to 25%. But it was vetoed later vetoed. And that one was really, really tough for me to swallow, as our inmates are still being transferred from the county prison to court in orange jumpsuits and sandals. And picking yourself up after one of those is kind of sometimes hard to do, but nevertheless, you have to move forward still. So that's a tough lesson.
So when that's an important lesson too, I would think, carrying to state government as we transition into talking about your race for the state senate. Here, you need to put together a coalition of 4 votes to get something passed on county council, and then get it past the county executive as well. At the state level, it's a lot more votes to whip together in order to make your initiatives come to fruition. So, talk to me about why the state senate? Why right now? Why is this the race for you to be in?
hmm Well, the state senate is because first of all, let me just say I'm by far the most experienced candidate in the race uh, in this year's primary. I'm the most experienced legislator on both sides of the aisle. I even have more experience than the incumbent, and so I've worked in just about every area of public service that you can work in. I've worked with just about every demographic of people, and I continue to do that. And so I believe that the lessons I've learned at county government have prepared me to go in and be able to count the votes and be diplomatic. But more importantly than the votes, Jim, it strengthened my resolve because just because you when you don't have the votes and you still move forward, it doesn't mean that you leave it all there on the battlefield. Sometimes you just have to learn to choose your battles and fight for another day. And we will revisit. I'm confident that we will revisit and that we will prevail here at the county level in that piece of legislation that we just used as an example as well. But at the state level, we still need someone to go, so an independent voice, someone who's going to go and be willing to fight and be willing to take on the tough conversations, whether they have the votes or not, but to raise the issue, not let the issue be buried as one of irrelevance. And so I'm that person that will go. Whether I have the votes or not have the votes, we will still have the discussion and the dialogue about things that I feel need to be changed for the betterment of not only the citizens of the whole Commonwealth, but more specifically the citizens of the 49th senatorial district whom I feel haven't gotten their just due.
What are some of the, as you describe them, the tougher issues in Harrisburg that are having a stark impact on Erie, and that Erie perhaps is not getting its due on, that you would try to rectify as our state senator for the 49th district?
hmm Yeah, I think here in Erie, they still look at us like the wilderness back in when both houses of the assembly were formed. And I think they thought this Commonwealth stopped at Allegheny County. And the only time that they really feel that Erie is relevant is at election times, as we are a barometer for much of the country, as you well know, in political matters and how we move forward as not only as a state, but as a country. All eyes are on Erie, and I think that Erie has been neglected way too long. Just the fact that we're even having a conversation about a community college, and that we've been woefully left behind, and that we've sold into a system where we haven't gotten a return on our investment. And when you start talking about investments, certainly we've gotten some RACP funding, but the trickle down doesn't work, and uh, it hasn't really benefited the everyday citizen. And so what I mean by that is whenever we have RACP designations, I believe that we should have community benefit agreements attached to it. And I don't think that and that's good legislation, whether you're in Erie in the 49th or whether you're in Philadelphia, just when communities that are left behind with challenges in their property taxes, that if we're going to give away big tax abatements, or if we're going to give away big state grants, that we very well should get something for it. And I think that's one area where Erie has been left behind in the conversation. I also believe that to move forward with Erie and with all the wonderful, wonderful things that are happening in the Erie region, and there are some great things happening. Many of them are happening right here in the second legislative district for the county, in which I'm blessed to be able to provide some leadership in that area. We have 6 of the 8 opportunity zones, and Erie is receiving a lot of praise thanks to the work of James Grunke and his staff, Amy Murdoch. Everyone seems to be rolling in the right direction, but I still don't see where it's trickling down to the those who are most vulnerable. And I don't think that that voice is being represented or being heard. And I don't think that a lot of the issues that just don't, that not only affect people here, and a lot of them are urban core issues, whether you're in Allegheny County or whether you're in Montgomery or Bucks County or whatever. This is good legislation to embed community benefit agreement language into any RACP designations into a community, that we actually get something tangible besides the promise of low-paying jobs, I think would do well. And I don't think that Erie really has been, their voice has really been raised to the degree that it should be to that end.
When you're talking about the distribution of tax dollars and the redistribution of tax dollars back into the community, I want to propose a hypothetical to you. I want to say, imagine that you are the state senator for the 49th district, and the governor comes to you and says, "Hey, it's magic time. We've got unlimited resources for one project in your district." What should it be?
Unlimited resources for, well, actually it would be, if it was, well, that's a part of two, it's going to be a two-part answer, if that's okay.
Sure.
Because it's all, you know, I believe that investment in our people has to be first. And so that my first thing would be community college. We'd be educating our trained workforce, and I would spend whatever I had to make sure that Pennsylvania status moved up in terms of, right now, I think we're like 47 out of 50 states in terms of job creation. The median income around here in the city of Erie proper is probably about 18,000, and probably about 30,000 in the county, which is woefully short, falls woefully short of both the state and national level. We have an achievement gap. We have brain drain. And so that's not something that all of our great minds, all our captains of industry, our manufacturing giants, our educators have all concluded for the last 20 years that this is what's required. And secondly, if it was just dollars and not just what Erie needed, but what Pennsylvania's needed, it would have to be healthcare. I think that healthcare isn't a luxury. I think, I think that's something, it's an inherent right. And right now, as we're going through the COVID-19, I think the case is really made for us on why we need some type of universal health care. And so I would spend money on job educating and our workforce, developing our workforce, and certainly taking care of our healthcare needs.
May have been a two-part answer, but I don't think that those things are at all disconnected from one another. So I appreciate that response. Listen, Councilman Horton, you are a people who know you and see you out there in the community. You are a social being. You're a hugger, and this has to be a tough time for you to be isolated and be at home. And I'm wondering if you can share with folks how they can connect with you online and connect with your campaign and learn a little bit more about what you're doing in pursuit of the state Senate seat here in the 49th district.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can connect with us at electandrehorton.com, and it will send you to all of our different various media platforms, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, but we primarily have been, because of the COVID-19, of course, we haven't been able to canvass, to door knock. Fundraising is kind of tough to ask people for money at a time when there are so many economic uncertainties, but we're providing information as to our COVID-19 response on electandrehorton.com, and you can go and look and hit the Me button, and it will tell you about all my bio, all the service work that we've done, and why I think I'm the best candidate for the 49th senatorial seat here in northwestern Pennsylvania. I think the toughest thing about it, because I am a social person, it's not the touching or the hugging. It's not being able to go out and I'm a hands-on person, and social distancing is a must. Our number one priority must be to slow the spread or keep the um, wave down. I do have some experience in that vein, and that as a member of the United States Air Force, my job actually was nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare defense training, and so I am following all of the recommendations. I'm sheltering in place, only going out when need be. But if someone needs me to come out, by all means, I'm probably the most easily, by far the most accessible elected official in the region. And I'll come out. I'm taking most necessary precautions to protect my grandchildren and my family members, right down to decontaminating myself on my doorstep when I do go out. Um, but again, you can contact us at electandrehorton.com. We appreciate all prayers. We appreciate all donations. No donation is too small. The election is up in the air right now, but we're monitoring that, waiting for the Secretary of State to determine, whether we'll postpone the election or whether it will be a mail-in election, or how we'll move forward in that vein. I'd like to ask everyone to be safe and take the COVID-19 pandemic serious. I know that a lot of people, young people, aren't, and they're classified as super carriers. I'm in my 60s now, and so I'm in that class, but I want you to know that young people are being affected. Young people will get sick. Young people can and will die. Erie County's in the lower threshold right now, and if we take the necessary precautions, then we'll be able to contribute to slowing the spread of it. And I'm going to do my part, and I admonish and I ask that all who are listening to this, that you will not only do your part as well, but to carry the message, to follow the recommendations of the CDC. And finally, I know the county executive declared a state of emergency, and which is, and it's really only lasts a week. And so tomorrow we'll be having a emergency meeting by Zoom conference. We're going to reaffirm the investment that we did in the COVID-19 fund that ECRA's, we asked ECRA to create, and that they have stepped up. And we also, in order for that state of emergency to stay in effect, after a week's time, County Council has to ratify it, and we have to be the ones who extend it. And we're going to extend it at least a week, or certainly the situation still remains fluid, but we're going to line up with government's, the governor's recommendations. So that'll be forthcoming as well. If you have any questions related to county government or to the COVID-19 response, please feel free to contact us again at electandrehorton.com, and we'll make every effort to answer, give you a factual answer. And when the answers that we don't have for you, we'll certainly seek out an answer for you and get back to you. So thank you again to the Erie Reader staff and all the writers and editors there. Erie is a better place because of Erie Reader, and in times like this, we need some form of communication, and they become Erie Readers has known to me and to those that I know as a reliable source of information on things that are going on locally in our community and beyond. So thank you again, Mr. Wertz.
Well, thank you. A lot of great information there, and important public sentiments from Erie County Councilman Andre Horton, candidate for the 49th State Senate Democratic nomination, which hopefully will take place on April 28th. But as Councilman Horton alluded to, there is a possibility of delay in the spring primary. Both the governor's office and the legislature are negotiating about those things right now, and we are we're hoping to have a resolution on that in the next couple of days. Councilman Horton also mentioned mail-in voting, the ability to mail your ballot in this year, and we're encouraging everybody to do that amid this crisis. And you can do that by heading over to votespa.com, VOTESPA.com, and applying for your mail-in ballot. The county will then process your application, mail you the ballot, and thanks to the Erie County Board of Elections and Erie County Council, they'll be covering the cost of postage to send that ballot back to the courthouse. So we're grateful for the Board of Elections and for County Council taking that step and agreeing to do that for the voters of Erie County. It's an important step, especially in a time like this. At the time when that decision was made, COVID-19 was not yet part of our lexicon, but it certainly is now. We want to make sure that those poll workers stay safe, and we want to ease congestion at the polls. And you can do that by applying for that mail-in ballot at votespa.com. And to find out more about Councilman Horton's candidacy for the 49th Senatorial District, head over to electandrehorton.com. Thanks again, Andre. I appreciate all your time and appreciate you taking the step for Erie here and running for the 49th Senate District.
Yeah, well, support our first responders, and let's keep our community in prayer and stay calm, and we'll get through this together.
Indeed, we will. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John.